Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into a seriously unsettling idea. What happens when the things we know are good become bad, and vice versa? We call this the inversion of values, and it's not just some academic thought experiment. It's a pattern woven throughout history, and shockingly relevant to the world we live in today. Think about it. Moments where societies have embraced ideas that to us now seem utterly backwards. It's creepy, it's fascinating, and it challenges everything we assume about morality. We're going to unpack how this happens, why it happens, and what it tells us about the fragile nature of our own beliefs. So buckle up. Okay, let's start with what we actually mean by inversion of values. It's not just a simple disagreement about what's right or wrong. We all have those. This is much deeper. Picture a moral compass, right? Usually it points toward things like truth, compassion, justice, fairness. But what if that compass started spinning? What if those values, those anchors were redefined, reversed, to mean their opposite? Traditionally, we associate good with principles based on reason, empathy, and helping others. Bad with things like selfishness, deceit, and causing harm. An inversion happens when those associations get flipped. When ruthlessness is lauded as strength, when ignorance is celebrated as authenticity, when suppressing dissent is seen as protecting the community. It's not just a shift in opinion, it's a fundamental rewiring of moral perception. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, a pivotal thinker on this topic, saw this as a constant threat. He argued that values aren't these fixed, eternal truths handed down from above. They're created by humans, but they're also incredibly fragile and easily manipulated. His big concern was that a slave morality, born out of resentment, could overtake a master morality, based on strength and self-affirmation. We'll unpack that later, but it's a key piece of the puzzle. This isn't just abstract theory. History is packed with examples. Let's look at a few. The Salem witch trials are a classic. Suddenly, piety and conformity were valued above all else. Questioning authority, independent thought, even just being different, became grounds for suspicion, accusation, and horrific persecution. What was once considered individual conscience was now deemed a dangerous threat. Fast forward to Nazi Germany. A nation reeling from economic hardship and perceived humiliation actively inverted its values. Traditional concepts of compassion and empathy were replaced with ruthless nationalism, racial supremacy, and the dehumanization of entire groups of people. Strength was found in domination, and morality was redefined to justify unimaginable atrocities. Even something like the Cultural Revolution in China saw a redefinition of virtue. Loyalty to Mao and the party superseded everything. Academic achievement, tradition, family bonds, all became suspect if they didn't directly serve the revolution. Youthful zeal, even violence, were celebrated as signs of dedication. In all these cases, the core principles weren't just contested, they were actively reversed, creating a world where up was down, good was evil, and the unthinkable became normalized. So how does this happen? It's not spontaneous. There are some key psychological and social mechanisms at play. Firstly, propaganda. Deliberate manipulation of information to create a specific narrative. Repeated exposure to biased information can slowly erode critical thinking and reshape perceptions. Think of it like a drip, drip, drip of misinformation until it fundamentally alters the landscape of belief. Then there's groupthink. The desire for conformity within a group can be incredibly powerful. People often suppress their own doubts and concerns to avoid being ostracized, leading to increasingly radical decisions and a silencing of dissenting voices. And crucially, dehumanization. This is the process of stripping people of their humanity, making it easier to justify harming them. Language plays a huge role here. Labeling groups with negative stereotypes, portraying them as enemies, or simply reducing them to statistics. Nietzsche's slave morality is also crucial here. He argued that when weaker groups resent those in power, they create a moral system that valorizes qualities like humility, compassion, and self-sacrifice, but weaponizes those qualities to undermine the strong. It's a subtle but potent shift. Now here's the unsettling part. This isn't just a historical phenomenon. We're seeing elements of value inversion right now. Look at the rise of online echo chambers, where people are primarily exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs. It reinforces biases, hardens ideologies, and makes it increasingly difficult to engage in constructive dialogue. Think about the glorification of outrage and negativity on social media. Compassion and understanding often get drowned out by sensationalism and performative anger. Even the language we use can be subtly inverted. Terms like woke or snowflake are often weaponized to dismiss legitimate concerns. And increasingly in politics, we are seeing the rise of misinformation and stories where simple truths are distorted and turned into something else. The danger isn't necessarily that someone will consciously decide to be evil. It's that the conditions are created where good people, gradually and subconsciously, come to accept and even embrace ideas that are fundamentally harmful. They do so because they've been convinced that those ideas are actually good. So what's the takeaway? Awareness. Constantly question your own beliefs, seek out diverse perspectives, and be wary of narratives that demonize others. Be intellectually honest and willing to admit when you're wrong. The inversion of values isn't inevitable, but it requires constant vigilance. It demands that we actively defend reason, empathy, and truth, not just as abstract ideals, but as the foundations of a just and humane society. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you see examples of value inversion happening around you? What can we do to resist it? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more philosophical explorations. See you in the next video.